We're going to start talking about triangles and rhombus and figuring out areas of those shapes as well. So review from last video, area of the rectangle below, area is base times height, 4 times 6, this is 24. Okay, now let's take the same rectangle and let's make half of it yellow. Okay, so area of the shaded region. Well, the shaded region is half of that rectangle. So the area of the rectangle was 24. Let's divide by 2 and get 12. Alright? Now, half the rectangle is a triangle. So whatever my area of a rectangle is, base times height, I divide by 2 to get my area of a triangle. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, or some of you, and I'm more comfortable writing it this way, 1/2 base times height. Those two really are the same thing. Regardless of how your height looks, if it's inside the shape, it could be outside the shape, or it could be one of the actual sides of the shape. If it's an obtuse triangle, the height will be outside the shape, so just keep that in mind. There's 3 different ways for a triangle to look, but this formula is the same regardless. Here's what I was talking about with an obtuse triangle. Our height is this one over here. Even though it's not in the shape, it's still a height of a triangle. Okay, so I have to use the big right triangle with the dotted lines and everything to figure out my height. Since the entire base in this picture is 15 and the hypotenuse is 17, my height's 8 because 8, 15, 17 is a triple. So now that I know my height is 8, the actual base of the triangle is 9. So 1/2 base times height, 1/2 base is 9, height is 8. 1/2 times 72 gets me 36. So find the area of an isosceles triangle with side lengths of 17, 16, or 17, 17, and 16. So here is my triangle. My legs, remember I always just draw them up here and I always keep the one that's different on the bottom. So we're going to draw in our height. We get height right here. Now a height is going to be perpendicular and it's going to split the base in half because it's an isosceles triangle. So this side is 8 over here and this side is 8 over here. So in this right triangle we have 8, 15, 17. We got to remember our triples. They aren't going away. We use them every day pretty much for the rest of the year. So the height's 15, the base is 16. So area is 1/2 base times height. So 16 times 15 divided by 2, we get that the area of this triangle is 120. Example 3, triangle PRS has an area of 20 square meters. If the height of triangle PRS is 8, find the base. So let me get a triangle drawn out here. There's our triangle. We know that the height of this triangle is 8. We want to find the base. Area is 20, and 20 is 1/2 base times height. So 20 is equal to 1/2 times the base times 8 the height. Now 1/2 times 8 is going to be 4, so 20 equals 4b. So the base is 5. Let's find the area of this triangle. The only issue is I don't have the base yet. So I'm going to find it in 2 pieces. Look at the right hand side of the triangle. That's a triple, 5, 12, 13. The left hand side is also a multiple of a triple, 3 times 4 and 5 times 4. So this one is 3 times 4, 4 times 4, and 5 times 4. Now since those are 16 and 5, the entire base is 21. So the area of this triangle is 1/2 times the height and the base. I know I wrote those backwards, height, base, base, height. It's going to be the same thing either way. Now, type it in your calculator. Area is 126. Perimeter of an equilateral triangle with a perimeter of 36. So let's get an equilateral triangle out here. Like that. Perimeter's 36, so 36 divided by 3 gets me that each side is 12. Each side is 12, so that when I draw in a height, it splits the base into 6 and 6. Now, what we did when we were doing the right triangle unit was an equilateral triangle split into a 30, 60, 90. So to find the height, I have to do my proportion. 1 over leg equals square root of 3 over leg equals 2 over the hypotenuse. I'm going to use 6. I'm going to use that side, so I don't need the hypotenuse. I can ignore that fraction. 1 over 6 equals square root of 3 over the leg x, which is the height. When I cross multiply, x is 6 square root of 3. So I have my height, I have my base is 12, so the area of this triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. And 1/2 times 12 times 6 is 36, and then the square root of 3 we know goes on at the end. So let's take a look at a rhombus. For a rhombus, we have essentially, if I split this in half right here, we have two triangles because in here these intersect at a right angle. So I have two triangles where I can find my height because the diagonal gets split in half. Without going through the work on how to get to this formula, we get that the area of the rhombus is diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. So for a rhombus, it's completely different than what we were just doing, and that's because we look at it as two triangles. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. So let's find the area of a rhombus that has a perimeter of 68 and a diagonal of 30. So to find each side, we got to take 68 and divide by 4. So each side of the rhombus is 17. Let me get a rhombus drawn here. This will work. Want them to look the same. Okay. So drawing your diagonals, and the diagonals of a rhombus form a right angle. So since each side is 17, one of the diagonals is 30. That means it splits to 15 and 15. Now, just like we did in a couple examples, we used the triple 8, 15, 17. That means that each part over here is 8 and 8. So I could break this apart and find the area of the triangles, or I could use diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 over 2. Doesn't matter which diagonal is which. One of the diagonals is 30. The other diagonal is 8 plus 8, or 16, divided by 2. Multiply those together, we get 240.